Hey everyone, so today I'm on Island Doc's account. He had asked me to do an account review for him maybe a couple weeks ago and sent me an email with like his goals, so you can see that here. He said he had like a working R4 solo team, he wants to do better in Arena, RTA, Guild War, etc., Devilmon focus, and so I did take care of that for him and just followed his list and added my notes to give him what I would do if I was in his shoes, kind of a thing. Some notable things are like he had only got the TOA hard 99. It's like if you can get to 99, you can beat 100. It's just like guaranteed. So I just suggested a team for him to do it, and he sent me back an email the next day, said that with Daphnis he was able to do it. Something like TOA Hell, I think that's fine to ignore, especially if you're early game. Like it's too high of rune quality. You need more speed than you probably have to make TOA Hell possible if you're early, so it's fine ignoring that. His Giants B12 team occasionally would fail. This was me just giving me a snapshot of where he is, and I gave him some notes, but I did get him a R5 team going, and I did get him Trikaru going. I saw he basically had Trikaru, he just needed to power up the runes. So I was like, just power up the runes. And that was something that I kind of suggested to him, like, you need mana because you have a lot of hidden potential sitting in your storage. And it's just a matter of powering up those runes and getting better at seeing the potential that could be in your runes, which I kind of touched on in my, account management videos too. So it's one of those things. At any rate, today he messaged me, asked me for like, if I'm free this weekend to fix up his his solo R5. So today that's what I plan on doing, is getting his solo R5 team like actually working. Whenever I briefly made it for him, all I did was like move some monsters around and move a little bit of runes around, because the goal of what he paid me for was just the account review, not actually doing that. I was just kind of being nice in that respect. So anyways, he bought a rune removal kind of thing, and we'll try and knock it out. He's got some mana for me to play with, and I think I can make it happen. All right, so this is the team that I put together for him whenever I originally did his account review. Again, he paid for an account review at that time. Now he's asking me to actually build him a solo R5 team that works consistently. Whenever I put this together, a lot of the runes weren't powered up, and it's not even really the ideal team that I would put together for him. I just threw monsters out that I know can work well and powered up some runes onto them, and it's like, hey, look, I beat it. And just wanted to like motivate him, like, look how close you are. I mean, kind of the same thing with his Trikaru team, was like, literally all you got to do is power up the runes. That was kind of my goal with that, is showing him, you're pretty close. When I logged in and hopped in here, he had completely different monsters in here, so that tells me he was trying out different things and it wasn't working for him. So I'm not sure if all the monsters here are runed the same way I had them runed, which is fine if they aren't. I'm going to be changing it up regardless. I also suggested some monsters for him to build, like Jamie here. I suggested Lisa, Brandia, some different monsters that I saw he owned, Arjun as well, because, they can potentially help him out to get a consistent team going. So I'm going to actually play around with his runes and play around with these teams a little bit to try and get it better than how I had it before, and certainly better than what he had. Here, I'll show you that real quick. He's got more. You don't want to speed lead. No reason for that. Go attack lead. More is just bad here to begin with. He was trying out Lisa. That's good. Skogul's very mediocre. Skogul kind of acts like a tank just to soak up damage, but his damage is very meh. Wusa's not horrible for a early Solar 5. Same with Ariel. I mean, I was using Lulu, which isn't ideal, but kind of works like Ariel does here. But at any rate, we're going to completely change this up and get a better team going. All right, so I haven't popped the rune removal pack yet, because if you didn't see my account management video, one thing I mentioned is how you can put your runes on in the RTA menu, because the game makes it really easy to transfer your runes from the RTA menu to the PvE menu. So that's just like a quick time saver, and that way I'm using the least amount of time possible with his rune removal pack. So when I give the account back to him, if he still wants to use it for whatever reason he might have, he can do so. So at any rate, we have Lisa here. One thing to note is Lisa is not max skilled. I did see 3 skill ups, so I put in 3. Luckily 1 went into the skill 3. That's the most important one, but not having this max skilled could of course affect things, because you want the that cleanse as much as possible. I did determination, enhance, and guard. We just need those extra stats. Another thing to note about this guy's account is he does not have his arena towers maxed yet. He's made good progress on it, so that's another issue. He's kind of low on mana at this point. I think we started at 12 million. I've probably sold like maybe 7 or 8 million worth of runes. I've sold hundreds and hundreds of runes. Yeah, I've sold about 220-ish runes because he was around max. So I've sold a lot of runes to get some more mana. I don't know how much mana that was worth, but we're down to 3.5. So, and it really, those grinds are what's more expensive than even powering up the runes. Those grinds are really freaking expensive to use. One other thing is I think I had this guy on Vampire. I'm going to give him a tolerance set for some more resistance, and focus to help him land the brand, and then guard just for more survivability for this guy. It also frees up some vampire runes to use on his twins. His twins are on violent currently, and it's a lot better to have vampire on your twins for, I mean, to me, just in general, I like vampire twins better for PvP stuff too. Like if you're using water twins in a light tank, like a Molly or a Sheer or Shushu, whoever it might be, into like Martina, Shayna, Triana, that defense. I really like vampire twins over violent. That's just me. Brandia, I went with Rage. I think 76 crit rate is what we need because of the 24 lead, so that would get to max or there. Not crazy stats. Low on defense. I'm going to be putting defense artifacts on her to make up for that lack of defense in the runes. So Arjun's another one we're going to try. I got him on a Fatal Blade set. 88 crit rate will for sure get him to max. It's more crit rate than I need. Defense and HP are lacking, so that's what I'll look for in the artifacts. So at any rate, one other one is Elsharion. I'll try Elsharion out instead of Lauren. He just has higher base stats than Lauren does, so better survivability, a nicer leader skill. And his Lauren is runes like Violent Revenge or something, so I think that's for like PvP purposes. And this way I can do like a double fight tolerance on a monster that I don't think he really uses anywhere. So yeah, we'll try out Elsharion instead of Lauren. Alright, so over here is his rune removal pack, so I'm going to go ahead and use it. And then I'll show you what I mean by how easy it is to move runes from the RTA menu to this menu. So one thing that I want to do is move the vampire set on Carlos onto the Hraesvelg. It's just a nicer damage set, and it's vampire, so that gives Hraesvelg some more survivability, so I like that. So we're going to move that over here, apply the changes. And then we're going to go back to here and say load the World Arena runes, and yes, and apply those. And then I'm going to get this powering up, or I guess that's just speed. We can get this one powering up. We'll be load the runes, yes. There's that. Radio. Oh, I don't know if I showed Jamie or not, but here's the Jamie set. Double Determination, Endure, some crit rate, not a lot of crit damage. Like, he is more of a damage doer, but his base stats are really bad being a 3-star, so you want him to survive. Oh shoot, I just noticed that was Trakaru runes. I don't want to take away Trakaru, that's bad. We'll fix that. So while those runes are powering up, I'll also take a look at the artifacts. So we said Brandia we wanted to throw on defense. So I have this one, +9. Additional damage isn't ideal. We'd rather the crit damage stuff because she doesn't do multi-hits. And she is taking advantage of defense breaks and brands and stuff. So crit damage is better in that regard, but that's okay. Do we want defense here? Yeah, defense for sure. So co-op damage is good. I don't really want to power that one up. We'll see what we can do instead. Let's look for like increased stats. Alright, so been powering things up. I got down to like 4,000 mana, kept selling runes, and here we are. This was the first attempt that no one died throughout the entire time, and it was a new best time at 56 seconds, so that's a great sign. I'll keep playing this out. Hopefully it wins all 10 in a row, but I think really it just is a matter of farming mana and powering up what's already on there. Make sure everything is at +15 and grind the runes as possible, and should be all set. I mean, that's about it. Also, skill ups will be a big help to get the cooldown reduction on those, particularly the cleanses and that kind of thing. But at this point, you have a team, I mean, that's really similar to mine. Power up runes, skill ups, and yeah, should be all set. Man, this is taking much longer than I thought it would. And the mana struggle is absolutely real. This was good though. I mean, I don't think what I said before is entirely wrong. I think it's just a matter of powering up what you have. The team itself, I'm sure, will work with better runes. Maybe, particularly this one, I think this team seems to lose more often than any of the other ones. Maybe take out the twins for like Fire Panda and something else, I don't know. But maybe this is the team to adjust for now while you power up this stuff and get some mana. We're so close to 10 consecutive runs though, and we got another new best time at 50 seconds. So those are all good signs, but I mean, at this point, again, we are around 800 something runes, so I've sold about half of your runes, like 400 runes. Sold a ton of grinds. I mean, you had so many useless grinds. Just sell all greens. Really, these blue ones can go too. You could keep blue percents, but you had just tons of useless grinds to sell. And it could be that you just not pay attention when you're farming, which, you know, that's fine, but it's a pain on my front whenever you have no mana. Anyways, we'll give it another shot, and hopefully we can get 10 consecutive. That's still the goal. So one piece of advice I should add is kind of my strategy as far as how I'm going about moving runes and how I'm deciding which runes to move on which monsters and that sort of thing. I would start with like the least common denominator. So I would put a team together that I know can work and watch how it fails. For example, I see that the Sabrina is the first one to die on the team on the right side. So let's adjust Sabrina so she has more stats. So I play around with her runes a bit, try out an Endure, a Guard, and I land on this Revenge set that gives her more attack, HP, and defense, which should be great since she's on Vampire. You know, she'll do more damage, she'll be tankier. The fact that she does more damage means she'll be healing herself more, that kind of a thing. Then I would just, like the team itself, maybe I need an additional cleanser, maybe I need to move people from the front to the back or from the back to the front, that sort of thing. I would just do a trial and error in that respect. So that's kind of the approach I took of actually moving the runes around. It's a matter of finding out what's weakest, what's having the most trouble, and improving that, because the moment a single team dies and there's two heads focusing on one of your teams, that's not good. You don't want that. So ideally all three teams survive throughout the entirety, and yeah, that's what I went about and tried to do. Also sold a bunch of his runes. He had a lot of runes just like equipped onto units, so like I couldn't do a mass sell. I had to first remove the rune and then sell it individually, which was tedious and annoying, but it is what it is. I really needed the mana. I also started spending crystals on mana. He gave me permission to do so. I think I spent like 7,000 crystals, which is like 15 million mana or something along those lines. And I spent all that mana too. Like, it's just, I feel for early game people in the mana struggle, because there's so many runes you need to power up and it takes forever. That made this whole process take a whole lot longer than I think it otherwise would have, but that just is what it is. I guess I could do the math briefly. So like 18 monsters, that's 18 times 6, 108 runes, plus 36 artifacts is 144 things to power up. So I had 1 million mana each. Just let's assume to get to plus 15 is 1 million mana each. That would be 144 million grinds or 144 million mana. And if you add grinds, let's just double that. You know, it's like 288 million mana to make a solo R5 team. It's a lot. It's a whole lot of mana. And I was starting with 12. Not that, I mean, a lot of them were already, you know, around plus 12. So that's that. But the 12 to 15 is like, of course, the most expensive part. So yeah, 12 is not enough. I needed a lot more. All right, so I finally got 10 consecutive wins. You can see average clear time was 1:20, so not quite that sub-minute. We actually got a new best clear time, not on this run, but a 46-second one not too long ago. But at any rate, here are the main changes that I did. I noticed like this team was struggling, and so I put Bastet over here, and pretty much instantaneously this team did so much better. Whenever I did that though, I took Bastet away from this one, and this one started struggling. So what I did was take out the Rauk and put in a Darien, and that helped out significantly to keep these two alive. But then this one started dying. So I put in the Fire Panda as another tank instead of the Wind Vampire, the Argen. So I think this is just a combination of three things. One being rune quality, two being the lack of having your towers maxed, and three being the skill ups on units like Miang not being max skilled. That cooldown reduction on skill 3 is important. Same with Lisa, which it looks like we did get that one. I don't know when that happened. He must have did that on his own. At any rate, the skill ups, powering up everything to plus 15, which is going to be a mana kind of thing. And then any like runes on here that aren't fully grinded, like this one, take out the resistance for attack and instantaneously he's improved. Stuff like that. And eventually, as your runes improve, as they get grinded and that kind of thing, you can take the Darien back out and throw in the Rauk. And then similarly, you can take out the Fire Panda and throw in the Argent. And that'll speed up your team if you care to do so. But in the meantime, you have a team that works. It's pretty consistent. It'll probably fail, like even though I got 10 consecutive, probably a good likelihood that it'll fail at some point. But just keep farming, keep getting that mana, and powering up what's already here. And you should have a good working solo R5 forever now. So that's all for this video. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.